Hi everyone, this is Kevin here, and this is the Samsung Galaxy S9. And in this video, we're going to go over the top 5 reasons why you should buy this phone in 2020. So let's get started. So the Samsung Galaxy S9 was launched in early 2018, and ever since then, it has remained a very good phone. The best part about it is that since the launch of this device, the price has continued to go down and down. And I'm sure, even from the time that I'm making this video to the time that you're watching it, the price has probably decreased even more. So take a look at the link in the video description to see the most up-to-date pricing for this phone. Now, the last time I checked, you could get it well under $300. And if that's still the case today, then that makes this phone an excellent value. And I'm going to explain why in this video. But first, let's get to the first reason why this device is a great purchase even now in 2020. And that is the display. You've probably noticed already, just by watching this video, how bright and vibrant and crisp and clear the display is on this phone. And it's really no coincidence because we're getting Super AMOLED display technology here. We're getting a resolution of 1440p. We're getting a PPI of 570. And we're getting an 18.5:9 aspect ratio, all put in a 5.8-inch size. So yes, the display on here is a bit smaller than many of the phones that we know and love now in 2020, especially compared to the Galaxy S20 Ultra, which is one of the most top-of-the-line phones that Samsung currently sells today. So you can see with the Ultra, we're getting a 6.9-inch display, so quite a bit larger than what we're getting with the S9. But on the other hand, I know that a lot of people, even now, do appreciate having a phone that is a little bit on the smaller size, because not only are you able to fit the phone into your pocket more comfortably, but also some people just don't want to have a TV in their pocket. So if you are one of those people that likes a big phone, then I certainly understand because I'm definitely in that boat myself. But for the people out there that still want a lot of power and good performance in a small, compact form factor, then I think the Galaxy S9 certainly should be a phone that you should consider getting. So yes, the display on here is excellent. It's nice and customizable too. So you can switch from 1440p to 1080p if you want to save battery life, or maybe you just don't see it to be necessary. Also, since it is Super AMOLED, the viewing angles on here are really good as well. So if you do want to watch maybe a movie on the airplane with someone sitting next to you, for example, then you certainly could do that here with the Galaxy S9. And, most importantly, video content is going to look great on the phone. Social media is going to be nice and crisp and clear on here as well. So the phone really has a lot going for it in that category. Now with the display being 18.5:9, we're not getting quite as tall and narrow of a form factor that we've seen with other devices such as the Galaxy A51, A71, and of course the new S20 phones that feature a 20:9 aspect ratio. But on the other hand, if you don't like that more narrower and taller form factor, then you certainly will like the S9. Moving on to the second best reason to buy the Galaxy S9 in 2020, and that is due to all of the different bonuses that you're getting here, despite this phone being a little bit older, and despite it currently having a very low price tag, especially if you do buy it renewed. This phone features NFC, so that's amazing. You are getting Samsung Pay with the device, so if you're a big fan of Samsung Pay, then you're going to feel right at home here with the S9. The device features DeX, so if you're not familiar with Samsung DeX, it's a really cool software feature where essentially you can plug this phone into a display, and you can actually now plug it even into your computer. And you can have DeX override your regular operating system. Or, of course, like I said, if you want to plug it just into a monitor, essentially you're getting like a mini desktop experience, but you're using the phone to do all the processing, and the actual operating system is already natively on the phone itself. So that's really cool. Of course, this isn't even a bonus because the majority of Android phones have this, but you know how Android Auto works? How you just plug your phone into your car and you have the Android Auto interface? Well, that's how DeX works, but it's just for a desktop experience. So you are getting DeX with the Galaxy S9. That's really sweet. You're also getting an IP68 water resistance rating. So that's really cool as well. I know that other devices such as the A series phones, like the A51 for example, which is actually the phone recording this video, does not feature any sort of water resistance or waterproofing. So the S9 is better in that regard as well. And another cool feature too is that you are of course getting wireless charging with the phone. And that's a feature that is also lacking from many lower end and mid-range Samsung devices. Now of course this is a flagship. This is not a mid-range phone. And I know that everyone already knows that. But you can buy this phone at a budget price. So in a sense, I feel like this phone competes with budget phones because essentially they're in the same exact price range. So that's really awesome, and getting all those different benefits like NFC, DeX, a actual water resistance rating, and wireless charging certainly do make this phone stand out compared to its other counterparts that are being offered at a similar price. You know, the debate is always going around. Should you go for a new budget phone, or should you go for an older used flagship at the same price? And I think these various benefits really do point out that going with the older used flagship is the way to go. Now moving on to the third reason to buy the Galaxy S9 in 2020, and that is the performance that you're getting here with the phone. So with the device, we're getting 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty decent, you know, nothing too exciting or too unusual, but the phone has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, and if you're not aware of the 845, it's essentially one of Qualcomm's flagship processors that made its way into many devices that came out in 2018, such as the LG G7 ThinQ, which I have right here. This phone has the same exact processor as the Galaxy S9. Now, I'll do a comparison probably in the future with these two devices. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see that. But what I'm saying here is that since the 845, we've gotten a couple of other new 800 series processors, the 855, 855 Plus, and the 865, which has made its way over to the Galaxy S20 series phones. Essentially, we haven't had that many new Qualcomm processors come out since the Qualcomm Snapdragon 845. Now, I did run an Antutu benchmark test with the phone, and let me show you the score that I got. Now I got an overall score of 340,960. So a really solid Antutu score here with the Galaxy S9, and that's really awesome to see. Now just for reference here, let me show you the score on my Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now with the 865, I was able to get an overall score of 555,004. So certainly a way better score than 340,960. But on other devices that are priced more expensively than the Galaxy S9, such as the Galaxy A71, that device features the Snapdragon 730, and with that phone, I've been getting Antutu scores well under 300,000. So the point is that just because you're spending more money on a newer mid-range device doesn't mean that you're getting better performance than a flagship that is a couple years old, like the Galaxy S9. So that's really awesome. So yeah, expect good performance here. I mean, it's basically, you know, not too old of a device, I suppose, but you know, the good news though about it is that you're still gonna get sweet, good performance with the device. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Now, the fourth best thing about the Samsung Galaxy S9 is the software. Now, this device has received the Android 10 update, which is really awesome. Let's go to that right now. So the device has been updated to Samsung's One UI 2.0, which is their skin, and Android 10. So essentially, you're getting the same software on here that you're getting with the Galaxy S20 phones. Now, to make things even better, the phone also has the March 1st, 2020 security patch, which is a very recent security patch. Now, I have gotten the April 1st, 2020 security patch on a couple of devices, such as my G7 from LG, but the March 1st, 2020 patch is pretty new, and I'm sure I'll probably get the April patch pretty soon as well. But the point is that Samsung has continued to support this device with the latest and greatest software from both them and Google. So that is really cool. And you're getting a lot of really sweet features, such as the App Edge, for example. These are features that are still very relevant and present on newer devices, such as the S20. The only difference, though, is that you're able to get an S9 for a fraction of the price. And finally, getting into number 5, that is the cameras. Now, there is a difference between the S9 and S9 Plus. The S9 only has one camera on the back, whereas the S9 Plus does have two. But the cool thing, though, with the S9 is that we're still getting portrait mode with both the rear and front cameras on the phone. So the rear camera here is 12 megapixels, and the front camera is 8 megapixels. So you're able to take nice, good-looking, crisp selfies with the phone, which is really excellent. So that's really good. And then, of course, you can take really good-looking photos and videos with those cameras as well. Speaking of video, you can actually take video with the rear camera at 4K at 60 FPS, which is really awesome. So even in 2020, you're still able to take excellent looking video with the phone. Now, of course, you're not getting 8K video like you get with the S20, for example, but who really needs 8K video at the moment? I understand that there's some benefits with having that feature because it does future-proof your device, but it's certainly something that I think pretty much everyone can live without. But let me know your thoughts about that. Is 8K video important to you, or are you totally fine with 4K at 60? So in general, I think the Samsung Galaxy S9 is certainly a great device to put on your radar even now in 2020, and especially if you're looking to buy a phone under $300, I think it's worth considering going this route versus going with a newer budget phone. Now, really the only benefit with going with a newer budget phone versus this is that you are getting a fresher, newer battery. So you likely will get better battery life with some of those newer budget phones. But on the other hand, even if the Galaxy S9's 3000 milliamp hour internal battery has gotten some wear and tear, and this really just applies to the people that buy this phone used or renewed, but even if the battery has gotten some usage, keep in mind that the Snapdragon 845 is very power efficient, especially compared to some of the Exynos processors that Samsung does include in their budget phones. So in that sense, you might end up with equal battery life, despite this phone possibly not having a brand new battery. But definitely let me know what you think about the Samsung Galaxy S9 in 2020. Again, if you want to see the most up-to-date pricing for the phone, then take a look at the link in the video description. I also have a bunch of other S9 videos here on the channel, so certainly check those out too. But this is Kevin here. Let me know what you think overall about this phone, and I will see you in the next video.